How much ADA is enough ADA? In this video, we're going to discuss just that. How much Cardano ADA do you need to achieve your goals, targets, aspirations for the future? As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out. Let's jump right down into the meat of this video. Okay, so Cardano ADA. A lot of people believe that Cardano is going to be one of those really sought after assets in the future, myself included. I think the path that Cardano has taken, the peer-reviewed approach, is something that I think many projects can aspire towards. Ultimately though, in this video, we're going to be talking about where we think the price action's going within the next kind of few years, where we think price is going down in the immediate future, how low it could potentially go, and how to dollar cost average into a position, and then of course trying to figure out what our targets and our aspirations are. There are three pieces to this puzzle, right? So the first thing we need to do is kind of figure out what is it that we want to achieve. If we're talking about price appreciation and speculative investment on Cardano ADA, what is the target? Is it $100,000, $200,000? Is it a mortgage, a house, a car? Whatever your target may be, make sure you've got a clear picture of what that looks like. Target with a dollar value associated with it. Okay, that's the first thing you must have, whether that is of course buying a new house, paying off a mortgage in an existing property, or whether that is getting that Lambo, right? Getting the Ferrari, the Lamborghini, whatever exotic car that it is that you dream of, right? That must be a dollar value associated with it. And it's important that you understand that that is the target. That is what you're trying to achieve with your investment in Cardano ADA. So once you have that target, the next part of the puzzle is, okay, well, how high do we think Cardano is going to go, right? In a bullish market, how high do we think Cardano ADA could potentially push towards? Because that key target is going to tell us how much we need, right? How many coins, how many tokens of an asset we are going to require in order to achieve the target, right? So we need to know that. And then of course, we need to know how many dollars we have to invest, which means where do we buy it? Where do we buy those coins and tokens, right? Are we talking about Cardano dropping down lower than 20 cents, or are we saying actually 33 cents right now is actually the place to be dollar cost averaging, right? These are very important things. So let's start with, where is price going right now? Okay, so if we take a look at this is the daily chart, and we can see that we have this move, this structured move to the downside. Okay, this comes after a bit of a move to the upside here, and again we tapped into that high, so we know that this is very much looking like it is done at this point. Okay, and we can kind of see that this is potentially where it sits at the moment, is the local high. This is actually labeled up as a weak high because our market here and our market structure is actually reasonably bullish still. It hasn't changed from that, and therefore we can still consider this a slightly bullish market, which means that there's still the possibility that we come up higher than our local high. With the current structured move to the downside though, we can acknowledge that we have a zigzag pattern right in here, okay, with a move to the upside that is also a three-wave pattern right inside here. And then we've got this recent five-wave structured move to the downside, and we're just looking to finish this off right now. This is potentially problematic because it means that we might be in for a double zigzag pattern, okay, which means if I bring this over to our high, bring this down to our swing high here, we could be looking at coming down to our yellow box range, which happens to coincide down here, and this actually happens to be a fair value gap as well. So we can see on the fib chart here, if I actually go ahead and just move that out of the way, our 1.236 to 1 ratio. This is basically 27.39 to 29.27, and that happens to coincide with that fair value gap over here as well, from back into early 2023. So looking at it, we would say, okay, well, we have a potential move to the downside here, where we will target out coming down and retesting those existing lows. Now, it doesn't look like we have a structured move here that says that that's an impossibility. It actually looks like it's a more probable kind of scenario. It does look like the low at the moment is strong and it should hold. So 23.92 looks like a good strong area at the moment for Cardano. That can change in the future, of course. And so therefore, I think for the purpose of the video, we'll say that dollar cost averaging, and we'll take the current price as our average purchase price, considering I do expect us still to move down a little bit deeper, and people were probably buying up at some of these slightly higher ranges here as well. A lot of people also were unfortunate enough to be buying at the high prices, so you can lower your average purchase price by buying down slightly deeper in the price chart. For example, if you were buying up here at $1, and then you start buying down here at 50 cent or so, you could then obviously make your average 75 cent if you were to buy the same quantities of coins up at $1 and at 50 cent, for example, the average price would be 0.75. And so the lower that you buy the Cardano ADA and the more that you buy at the lower prices, essentially the lower your average cost becomes. And that's critically important to knowing how you're going to generate the target in whatever your aspiration is, right? Whatever your goals are, okay? Because you have to factor in quite a few different things when it comes to where you think price is going to go and how much money you're actually going to extract out of your investment. Okay, so knowing that we have an approximate target range between 27 and 29 cent, let's say, or 27 and 30 cent, potentially even coming down a little bit lower if it needed to, between 25 and 26 for the fair value gaps, we could see that there's a move to the downside for dollar cost averaging. But for the price, or for the purpose of the video, I'm going to take the current market price at 33 cent as the average purchase price. Okay, some people were very fortunate enough, myself included, to be buying down at 8 cent and all around there, which was great. And some people got in at the ICO, for example, where they were paying less than half a cent, and it still shocks me that happened. And I would, if I was in the space actively back then, I would have been all over that ICO. That being said, we are where we are right now, and this seems like a pretty good undervalued positioning for Cardano's ADA. So we have a target in mind. We know what we want to achieve, right? We have the aspiration for a Lamborghini or pay the mortgage off, right? We know the target, we know the dollars that are associated. We also know that our average price is about 33 cent, at least for the purpose of the video. Yours may be different. And we know that price may come down a little bit deeper, but we're going to use 33 cent as the average price. But what about future price predictions? Where do we think it's going? Well, for that one, we can, of course, jump into a slightly bigger model. Okay, so here on another daily chart, we might actually take it to a weekly. Yeah, we'll take it to the weekly because it's already charted for us. It makes it a little bit easier. And here we can see that we are following a potential zigzag pattern to the upside, meaning that even if we came down to 19 cent, as you can see here, a new lower low, it's still possible that we actually achieve some very, very healthy targets for Cardano ADA. Now, that's going to split opinions because market cap seems to trip up so many retail investors. I will say at this point right now, market cap is not an important metric to follow. Market cap is a calculation that is based on price and supply, meaning that price dictates market cap. Market cap cannot be a barrier to price. Okay, so we have to understand that market cap can be great for trying to rank how projects are growing and things like that, but really trip you up if you think that that's going to stop the price from rallying to a certain area. Market cap is fictional. It is not factual. It is not liquidity. It is not the amount of money that's gone into a project. It simply is a basic calculation of supply multiplied by price. It does nothing more. So knowing that market cap isn't a metric that you can use for price appreciation or price predicting and targets, it's important that we actually look at the market structure. What's going on? Now, Cardano is a highly liquid market, which means Elliott wave theory loves it. It's great for being able to predict out people's behavior. And this brings us on to that first 5-wave structure. In Elliott wave theory, it tells us that if you start with 5 waves, you must end in 5 waves. Now, typically, a zigzag pattern is a 5-wave up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, or inverted, as in, I think they actually call it an inverted zigzag technically, but nonetheless, a zigzag pattern is 5, 3, 5, okay? And it can go in both directions, but technically a zigzag would be up and an inverted zigzag is down. Nonetheless, we have 5 waves going up. We've had a very choppy corrective structure moving down, again, corrective structure in the B wave, and then we're looking for 5 waves to go up into our C wave. Now, typically, not a rule, but typically, a C wave mirrors that of the A wave, as in they're both 5-wave structures, so they usually typically go between a 100% of A or 123.6% of A, meaning that this target range right up here, this yellow box, is where that future prediction kind of lies. Now, this is a bit on the greedy side, if you ask me personally. I think it's a little bit too ambitious, and I think we should probably be a little bit more realistic. What I mean by this is $34, I think that's pretty achievable, but it's going to be a stretch target. $118, not in the next bull market, but maybe in the next couple. Okay, and I do think that's something that we'll see gradually over a period of time. And no, I don't think Cardano is a security, in case anyone does ask that question in the comments down below. Check out my video that I put together on the Cardano, is it a security? Because no, I don't think it is. But nonetheless, digressing, I think it's important that we reflect on more sensible base numbers in order to make sure that we lock in gains early enough. We don't want to be left holding a position or a bag of ADA if we were not intending to do so. If we have these targets and these aspirations, it's important that we follow through on them. So on that note, what is a nice realistic target to be aiming for? And well, I think there's actually a nice range, actually a little bit deeper in the price chart, or a little bit lower in the price chart than what we're thinking. And if I draw this on, I would say that we're probably going to be more in this range here, between $4.74 and $11.24. This to me seems like a nice area to be aiming for. This is going to be an area that price will react, people will react, because it is a 0.618 Fibonacci sequencing level, but also the 786 Fibonacci sequencing level. Now, this is based on going down to 19 cent. Of course, if we don't and 23 holds as our low, then actually our targets would raise up ever so slightly, where we talk about $5.83 through to around the $15 level. And these are slightly more sensible numbers in my opinion. But for the purpose of the video, I want to keep it conservative. I want to lower the price down a little bit to give us an idea as to how many tokens we can accumulate and achieve those targets and those aspirations that we have. So I'm going to take the lower number here. I'm going to take $4.77, okay? So let's go over to Excel. We're going to use Excel to help us understand what's going on with the price action of ADA and whether or not we think we have a big enough position to achieve our targets. I've got 10,000 all the way through to 100,000 ADA listed here. You can obviously change these up, and these are just nice round numbers so you can scale accordingly, and you can start to see a good idea as to kind of where things are going to land. I'm also going to include a 20% capital gains tax that we pay here in the UK. That may be different for you guys, and obviously then that's going to give us a net gains at the end of there as well. Okay, so let's go take a look at this. The target price, we're going to say, was £4.74, or $4.74, I should say. Let me just check it. $4.77, sorry, if I can even remember what I wrote there. $4.77. Okay, so $4.77 is going to be our target range, and I'm going to just drag that all the way across into all of those boxes. Our average price, we said, was going to be 33 cents based on the current market value. At the point of recording this video anyway, and we're going to paste that in. So we can see that if price goes to $4.77 and we have 10,000 ADA, then it will be worth $47,700. At an average cost of 33 cents, it would have cost us $3,300 to get the 10,000 ADA. That means that if we deduct the cost from the value, our actual realized gains would be $44,400. Our 20% tax would be $8,880, meaning that we would net down $35,520 after tax. That's for a position of 10,000 ADA. Now that scales accordingly, right? So depending on what your targets are, maybe you want to buy that Lambo, right? And it's 200k, in which case you're probably going to be looking at around 60,000 ADA in your portfolio to be able to achieve that if price goes to $4.77. Of course, we're using really conservative numbers. You can adjust this accordingly to your own parameters and aspirations, right? And so we can see here 100,000 ADA at $4.77 would be worth $477,000. Our tax bill would be, of course, $88.8 thousand, and it would have cost $33,000 to buy 100,000 tokens right now. That means that we would net down $355,200 after tax, at least here in the UK. So all in all, it's looking pretty good, pretty aggressive, and I think ultimately, depending on how many coins and tokens that you want to actually hold, you could achieve your targets reasonably well. So all in all, I'm going to leave this video right there. I'll make this spreadsheet, I think, available in our Discord server, so you haven't already joined Discord, you should definitely go ahead and check that out, linked in the description below. If you found it useful, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe, and don't forget to join us down in Discord. Until the next video though, guys, have a fantastic day. We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.